the outer coat layer of the myelin sheath, which is the nerve, like a cable. Inside the cable, outside there's a plastic coating. Inside there's the actual cable.
Right.
Same thing like the nerve is the myelin sheath is
right.
out, and it burned it off. That's what causes the tingling and numbness. So I got special LED therapy at Whitaker Wellness, which they use for burn victims and military veterans, and it's just like lights, LED lights, but they have healing properties in them, and it helped heal with the neuropathy. But they also prescribe B12, which was a supplement that heals the nerves also.
Now, were you taking that orally or injectable?
Orally. I did try injections, but those only helped for a few days. So I started doing research on that, and I found a website which really helped me. It's called the food form of B12, which your body recognizes as food. And so I ordered some on a whim, just thinking, what have I got to lose? And like within 15 minutes of taking them, I would feel my hands and legs start to tingle. Like it was working that fast.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
So I was like, wow. I called them up and go, hey, how many of these can I take a day? They're like, take as many as you want. And I did. I started taking about 21 of them a day. And
121.
She said that's probably the max amount you can probably stick with. And every time I took it, I felt a little bit stronger, a little bit better.
Are you still on it now?
Yeah, I still take it, along with other supplements. We'll discuss later, Keep my blood sugar low and blood pressure. Because when you have diabetes, it's like this domino effect. You start having a high blood pressure, arthrosclerosis, that's the hardening of the arteries.
Yes.
You can start developing cataracts, which I actually started to develop.
Wow.
Like on
it was
my
really
eyesight.
running through you.
More like burning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was losing my eyesight, and it was really scaring me. I was close to buying a gun and ending my life. That's how bad it was. So, through a lot of prayer and research and talking to a lot of doctors, not just that group down there, but other ones, getting different opinions. Over time, I began to heal, and I learned so much that I figured out, I'm gonna start a book. I'm gonna write a book. There's got to be millions of people out there that
absolutely
have
this. That are going through what you're going through right now.
A lot of people don't even know they have it.
Yes.
Correct.
And they won't know it until it's too late. So I wrote the book to help people, but mainly I was telling you the other day, the main reason it bothered me so much was that traditional doctors just give you metformin and insulin, but insulin just makes you put on more weight. They automatically know it adds 20 to 30 pounds, and that
IGF-1. IGF-1. Every big bodybuilder's on there right now. It's IGF-1.
Yeah, they have those bubble guts.
Exactly. Too. The insulin.
Yeah, that's insulin.
Insulin gut. Yeah.
So as you take in more insulin, you need more because your cells become resistant to the insulin.
Like anything.
Okay.
Sort of like it builds up the tolerance.
Right.
So luckily I didn't go on that, but what triggered this book and all this motivation was the fact that I read that one of the drugs to treat neuropathy, I don't want to mention any names, but it actually causes suicidal ideation.
Tendencies.
That's why you wanted the gun.
And so I went through that, and then I found out through research that some doctors had written, yes, this drug's side effects has caused kids to kill themselves.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
And that was it. I'm like, man, I got to do something. I got to share this knowledge with the world. I don't want anyone to go through this again. So started writing the book about 4 years ago, and got therapy, finally mental health therapy.
That's great. Good for you.
That was pretty difficult, but it was healing more than I thought.
I love therapy. I think therapy is the best thing anybody can do.
Yeah. The people should not deny therapy.
The therapy works wonders.
It does. It totally does. The most people that are against therapy are people that are just in denial.
Do you think they're in denial, or you think they're afraid?
Both.
I think people are afraid of the unknown, and if you aren't comfortable talking about what you're going through, I think therapy can feel very intimidating. I mean, it did for me at first, but honestly, it's the best thing I've ever done.
I don't know if it's an unknown. I think it's more, you just don't want to hear it.
You don't want to know it.
Yeah, you don't
it's
want to
one
hear
thing
it.
to have like a nagging,
Yeah.
maybe I should, and it's totally, we've talked about this before, where people go see psychics because they want answers, but you already know what you should be doing.
Same thing.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's same concept. People don't want confirmation, but they're.
I think that people that once say go see a psychic or go see a therapist are willing to accept the confirmation.
Agreed. Agreed.
That's why.
Anyway, sidetrack. Did you feel that way? Like, do you feel like working with a therapist has really helped you clear that blockage that you've been carrying?
Absolutely. I mean,
In fact, I think you really enjoy therapy. You are studying to become a therapist yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, because of the treatment and healing I got from therapy, I looked into going to school for that, and I enrolled a couple years ago, and I'm getting
That's
my master's
awesome.
degree.
That's so great. I'm so
Yeah.
excited to hear that. We need more people out there.
Well,
that
listen,
want to heal others.
it's better to hear from somebody that's been through it, because I could always say, well, you know what I'm going through. Well, you're right, I don't know what you're going through. Where if I said, you know what I'm going through? No, actually I do, and I'll tell you what you're going through. You're going through A, B, C, and D. And you're like, whoa, So, it's like being a former drug addict, and you're trying to help somebody rehab. I know what you're going through. I've been there, So I think that's way more productive than. I'm not shooting anybody down that's going to school to be a therapist, but I just think that the one that's gone through it has more of a edge on them.
I agreed. I think if you're going to be a therapist, you should have been in therapy at some point.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. I
The
mean,
school that I'm going to actually requires 24 hours of therapy
Perfect.
just to graduate. So,
Good. I think it should be more.
For men, men usually suppress their emotions. We're kind of taught that way because we don't want to
It's the second
appear
time we've heard that
feminine.
tonight. But I don't think it's a
So-
feminine energy to talk about an emotion. I think it's healthy.
It is.
Regardless if you have a penis or a vagina. I don't think it
you know what my
matters.
problem is? My problem is I have no filter. So if I don't like you, I just tell you I don't like you. I don't hold anything in. So
It's a
that's my
beautiful
problem.
quality.
Like, that's my problem. I tell people how it is. I don't hide anything. I don't hold on to anything. If I don't like something you're doing, I tell you I don't like what you're doing.
Equally entertaining.
Very to the point.
Did you get therapy at one point? Or
I've gone to therapy a few times, yeah. But me, I've always been that way. I always tell people, do not ask me a question that you don't want the answer to. Because I will be
This is a very true statement. He'll tell you.
brutally honest to you. I will tell you. Don't come to me and ask me a question because you don't want the answer. And I'm harsh. I'm very harsh.
I think we have an agreement now that I will even say to you before I ask a question, I don't really want you to answer, just hear me. Because
True.
I know what the answer is. So now we just have conversation. I'm like, can you just listen to me? And then he'll sit there quietly, and then I get pissed that he's being quiet. But.
Because she's a very difficult person.
Not difficult.
Very.
Freaking peach.
Yeah.
how about you? Have you been to therapy,
Yes,
Cynthia?
love therapy. I love therapy.
Sure.
I was in it for about a year. I would go back in a heartbeat. I mean, I don't feel like I have any resounding issues right now, but that doesn't mean that I don't, and I would happily do therapy again. It was a very healing process.
I think that anybody that's living should go to therapy at least once.
You hear that, guys?
You know, I
Seriously.
went
Don't
through a
be scared.
divorce, and it was very brutal. I mean, the divorce wasn't, but the emotions behind it were very brutal, and it really helped me become a better, calmer version. Say nothing. He's cracking up. Look, I'm significantly calmer than I used to be. I'm still crazy, but I'm calm. It's a calm crazy. Shut up! Are you done?
Keep going.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm like laughing inside.
You're not. You're actually physically laughing out loud.
I'm trying to hold it in.
You're failing.
Anyways.
You think I'm still crazy?
Of course.
Ugh.
You're worse now than you were a year ago.
No.
Oh my God.
You think I'm crazier?
Yes.
Wait. Like emotionally crazier or just busier crazier?
Busier crazy.
Yeah. But that has nothing to do with therapy.
Which means you're emotional.
Okay, Pot.
We're not talking about me right now.
I'm not emotional.
So, anyways, you're back in school, and you have to do 24 hours of therapy.
Yeah.
Which, have you completed that?
Halfway there, but I'm actually treating clients, and the
you?
irony is 1 out of 3 either has diabetes or has some family member, and I just give them a copy of the book. I email it to them, and just because I feel so bad for them, and that's how rampant it is.
Yeah,
especially in the U.S.
Yeah, no, it's truly amazing how diabetes has really grown. Like, for example, like Alzheimer's, it's considered type 3.
Really?
Yes. It's based off of sugar.
Alzheimer's is considered
So type 3 diabetes. Yes. So, like, it was explained to me, which you probably know, it's considered an umbrella, which is Alzheimer's, and after that, there's branches, different branches of all kinds. And that's why they call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes, because it is all based on insulin and sugar.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. Sugar is literally the devil.
You know, I'm reading more and more studies almost daily now about the harmful effects that sugar has on the body. And it's just not something that we need.
You know what's really crazy
it's insane to me, the harm it does.
Back in the 80s, there was actually a diet book called Sugar Busters. And the diet was based that you get rid of all sugar. And this was in the 80s. That some guy wrote. I should actually find that book.
That sounds like a fascinating book.
Yeah, it's called Sugar Busters, and
But your book has a lot of diet information in there too, right? Now you have a plant-based diet now?
Yes. Well, I can eat junk food now a little bit. Ooh. Every day I have something sweet, so I was able to keep my blood sugar low through the supplements and by weight training.
Now, do you do it because you want to, or because you feel your body craves it?
A little bit of both. I mean, definitely have a sweet tooth. There's no.
Have you always had a sweet tooth though?
Yeah, sort of. You know, I mean, who doesn't want to?
You don't have.
I don't have a sweet tooth.
Yeah,
no.
I do. You don't.
No, sugar does nothing for me. Like, my biggest downfall is brownies. If you put a brownie in front of me, it's gone. Other than that, does nothing for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that about you.
Yeah, that's
I
about
knew
it.
about the no sugar thing, but I didn't know about the brownie thing.
Yeah, that's about it.
What is your Achilles heel sugar-wise?
Chocolate.
Any chocolate?
Any
chocolate
kind of
is
ice cream, candy bar, whatever.
Yeah.
See, mine's ice cream. If there's ice cream is my brownie. If there's an ice cream, it's gone. It's just not even. There's no option not to have it.
Yeah, like dessert.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. I don't need a lot, but ice cream is my fan.
Yeah, I mean, unless if I'm like at a really like high-end restaurant or something, and you figure, okay, I'll try it, you know, but that's
the
rare.
dessert in a high-end restaurant,
It's
I don't
small.
know if you've experienced it. Isn't the dessert the most disappointing part of the meal?
It depends where you go.
Maybe you've experienced some phenomenal desserts, but in a high-end restaurant, or any restaurants for that matter, because there's so many great ones out here. We live in a great area for food. I find the appetizers are the best part of the meal. Always.
You see, I don't like appetizers.
There's something so wrong with you. You're such a weird human being.
I consider it a waste.
See, I'll do a bunch of small plates and skip a main course.
No, I'd rather have the main course and I'm done. I mean, why have an appetizer?
Because it's an amuse-bouche. You have a nice little bite of happiness.
I don't want a little bite of happiness. I want a steak.
I was gonna say, you just want meat though.
Exactly.
Anyway, so, sorry. Back to the plant-based diet. So you do have some chocolate.
Yeah, actually, you touched upon something I wrote about in the book, portion sizes in restaurants. Just the appetizer alone, in most cases, is one meal. For
it's
day.
huge.
Absolutely.
It's huge.
I mean, then you get the full-on plate, which is probably 3,000 calories. That's another
portion
whole
size
day's.
is a huge problem.
It depends on what you're eating, but usually, yeah.
I mean, I can share plates now just because I feel like it's just gone out of control from just the last 10 years.
I mean, everything's bigger, Everything has to fill up the plate.
Mhm.
You know, that's why, you know, when you heard when you would go to McDonald's, oh, do you want to supersize it?
Yeah.
You know, for only $1. You know, and now, if you notice when you go to drive-throughs, like medium or large, and you say regular, like, oh, because they're selling you on the medium or large.
Yeah, for like $1 more.
Yeah,
you
for
get
dollar exactly.
twice the meal.
Yeah,
But you can't finish it. What's the point of getting more if you can't finish
because
it?
you have to understand that our society is 62% obese.
Really?
Yes,
62%?
it just went up.
There's more obese people than there are healthy people?
It was 58%. It's up to 62 now.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, people are just fat, just
That's
fat
interesting.
because they just eat crap. And part of the problem there too is work. More people spend time, especially here in LA, spend more time in traffic, less time away from home. And what's the easiest thing to do? Pick something up.
No, that's true.
it's
I mean, I've been
convenience.
struggling with that.
It's convenience. It's convenience. You're
How
driving
busy I've
home,
been. Yeah.
you know, and now you have Postmates, DoorDash, that you can actually
I do love Postmates.
you can order
It's
your
the best
food.
thing in the world.
You can order your
I
food,
love Postmates.
and they bring it to you.
It's really nice.
So you know that is an attribute to people being
I can
obese.
see
You know,
that.
because you can get McDonald's delivered to you.
You know what they don't have? And I was thinking about this the other day. There is no healthy fast food restaurant.
Because
Like,
health,
you can't go through the drive-thru to get a healthy meal.
because healthy is expensive.
But is it?
Not really.
Like, lettuce is the same cost as
No,
a
listen.
hamburger.
If you eat healthy, it is expensive. Think about it. If you were to go
Meat
to
lean
lunch,
cuts.
if you were going to go to lunch, let's say, and you have a piece of salmon, some vegetables, right? Maybe a little salad with it, easily
$22.
$22. You can go to Burger King, get a double Whopper with cheese and a meal for $11.
So I just scarfed down a Burger King. That's the place, right?
Yeah.
Chicken sandwich before our last guest, just because I'm starving. This might be the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten.
Well, did you get the
chicken
spicy?
is rubbery. No, I got just the grilled chicken with
Oh.
nothing on it, with the lettuce and one of the bread pieces. But it was rubbery. It had no flavor.
It's probably healthy.
Ugh.
Because healthy doesn't have flavor either.
That's not
Yeah.
true. A nice piece of steak without anything on it, it's good.
I talk about that in my book. How people think they're saving money by eating junk food.
Right.
But when you get sick with diabetes, I ended up spending at least 30 grand healing myself with all the doctor visits, that out of network place, medical
Yeah.
wellness. I went through my life savings. I couldn't work for a year.
Oh, wow.
So when you think about, yeah, I save $1 on a hamburger, I could have eaten a piece of chicken breast
Right.
for $1 more. You look at the cost down the road, and maybe it'll lead to a stroke or a heart attack.
Yeah.
You're like, there goes
That's a
your
good
life
point,
savings.
yeah.
You got to file bankruptcy because you
Now
Well, you
you're
know,
can't
sick.
afford the hospital.
No,
bill.
you're right.
So,
And if you think about like food stamps, EBT, so food stamps are based for you to go to the grocery store and buy food to make, right? So now Jack in the Box takes EBT, McDonald's takes EBT, Del Taco takes EBT. So now not only are you giving these families food stamps, but now you can say you can go have a. So you're giving them help. Now they're gonna go eat crap, and now their health is gonna go through the roof. And now we got to cover their medical bills. Right?
funny how it works.
Yeah.
Oh,
Think about
it's a
it.
depressing conversation we just had.
But it's true though.
So,
That's what's happening.
I want to talk about diet because that was a huge part of me losing
Yeah.
41 pounds in 6 months. But I got a funny story kind of tell you
Yeah.
today. So when I created the site, I wanted to create a Google AdWord account, which I did, and they were like, "You're misleading people on by saying you lost 41 pounds in 6 months. You have to reword it
Why?
for us to approve it." I'm like, "It's
It's
unrealistic." And I'm like, "Hold on, I have documentation in my book. I have my blood tests, show my A1C, my triglycerides, cholesterol, and all that. Plus, the doctor I went to, a specialized doctor, measured my body mass index, where it measures your fat on your body, your water, your muscle, and he measured it every 2 weeks. So in my book, it's all right there. I couldn't have made that up.
Right.
and then the before and after pictures. So I have proof that I did it. So it was like, come on, Google. You know, they didn't even look inside the book, even though I gave them a copy. So, but it can be done. I mean, I'm living proof it can be done. And here's what I ate basically for 6 months. And it's so lame, but I was desperate. So in the morning I wake up, I have a bowl of oatmeal with some cinnamon.
Why does every diet start with oatmeal?
Because
it
breakfast is the most
up.
breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Oatmeal has the best carbs.
Eggs for the rest
It fills
of my
you
life.
up and keeps you
Yeah.
full for hours.
Exactly.
Fiber.
But it's so gross.
But it's good for you.
But if you add cinnamon and blueberries and blackberries and raspberries,
I'm a hard out.
Yeah, but
Only
you,
eggs.
but if you're diabetic,
egg whites and spinach.
you shouldn't be doing all those raspberries because of the sugar content.
so fructose is
He just thought it right over.
I'm just saying.
but hey, look, man, you gotta make life livable. I'm like,
The man was eating oatmeal. Let him have a blueberry.
I'm just saying that blueberries will spike your sugar level.
well, I wasn't worried about that. I just wanted to be able to eat the oatmeal.
Oh, you see,
I'm with you. I can't drink it down either.
I literally, I just put water and I swallow it. You see, I don't eat for taste. I eat for fuel. That's my whole thing. I don't care if
You don't get to sit at this table. You just don't. You're not normal.
What do you want me to do? It's just what I do. You know, I water down my oatmeal. I just chug it down. I'm done. Let's go. Let's move on. You know, we got things to do.
Ugh.
If your body can handle that, go for it.
Yeah. You know, just plain.
So as I continue with my diet, I eat basically a small salad with a mixture of, kale, spinach, carrots, peas.
Carrots are high in sugar too.
Cauliflower, and a bunch of other vegetables I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'd have a size of animal protein, whether it's chicken, steak, turkey, whatever, fish, the size of my palm, and just drink water. And that was 3 meals of that per day. I mean, the oatmeal and then 2 of the other. And
did you ever have a snack in between?
Just the almonds and cashews.
Okay.
So I started losing weight rapidly just on that. I actually stopped feeling hungry.
Right.
Because of the fiber and the nutrients that were in the vegetables. I stumbled across the Dr. Furman's PBS show where he talks about how certain enzymes are released from the food as you chew them, which actually heal your body and make you lose weight.
Right.
Because they stop the blood flow to the new fat cells. Anyway, so that I wrote about in the book as well. I talk about toxic hunger versus true hunger, which you feel in your throat with true hunger. And anyway, so as I started losing weight, I was telling Cynthia, I started getting girls looking at me as I was walking down the street, and they would smile, and I'd be looking behind me like, who are they smiling at? I was like, what's going on here,
So during this time, did you go back to the gym?
Well, I was so sick from the neuropathy, I couldn't work out. I could barely walk. So with the B12, I got enough strength to actually just walk.
Okay.
After about a month.
Good for you.
And that company that sold me the B12 said, if you can, just walk for 15 minutes, which I did. And then it led to 30 minutes and then 45 minutes. And then I began to jog and walk. And then I started lifting weights. And that really helped with the blood sugar levels.
Right.
Because muscle burns glucose 24/7, even when you're sleeping. So training with weights and sprinting for 20 minutes, 10 minutes, it just caused my blood sugar to stay low. And I don't know about you guys, but I love food and I love
I do. He doesn't get to play. Ignore him.
The delicious flavors, I want to enjoy life. I want to have good food.
Food is a good social.
I always say that for me, I would rather drink my calories than eat my calories.
And see, I'm the opposite. I want something tasty in my mouth. I don't want to drink it.
No, food is just.
No, I'll drink water. I don't need anything else. Water is just fine. I love food.
Does nothing for me.
All those sauces.
I love cooking.
I just eat for
tasting,
fuel.
I love
Seriously, I just eat because I have to.
See, I think there is something so soothing about taking ingredients, real natural ingredients, and combining them to make flavor combinations. And I don't know. I think there is an art form to cooking and creating something that's tasty. I just don't think you appreciate food for what it is. You're too focused on the fuel that you don't appreciate how something
I need food for one thing,
put
one thing
together
only.
in a certain way
Feed
can do
me,
things for you.
break down, and let's get it out. Let's
Well,
move
see, I
on.
don't poop, so I don't understand.
Yeah.
But girls don't poop.
Yeah. Right.
So now you're getting attention from girls.
Yes.
So has your love life improved?
Of course.
Good.
Oh, I actually I thought of something after our conversation. There was, do you remember the movie with Eddie Murphy where he was Fat Albert? Or I think
Yes.
He
Well,
actually.
I don't.
Professor, right?
Professor, yeah.
Yeah.
Nutty Professor.
Nutty Professor,
There you
yeah.
go.
We got there.
He talked about that he would wear that costume that he had to wear for the movie just out and about on the studio, and he was commenting on how people just thought he was invisible,
Yeah.
and it was sad, like
You know what?
people.
It's sad because society, we have a certain perception of how people should look, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see somebody that's obese or overweight, you want to ignore them. You want to, and you tend to stare at them like they're like a freak show, because you're like, I can't believe they're that big, like And you'll say things like, "If I ever got that big, shoot me," if you're with a friend,
That's true.
because we have a perception that technically that we should be slim, thin, fit, like a supermodel, what you see in the movies. So when you see something like that, you don't know what they're going through. Maybe they had a tragedy and they're just eating because their loved one died, and now it's hormonal if it's a female, male, you just don't know, and that's just what society does. It's cruel out there.
Was that hard to suddenly get attention?
Yeah, it kind of bothered me actually.
Yeah.
I was like,
I hear that a lot from people who have been recently thin. They say that they really struggle with self-image when they suddenly start getting attention that they weren't anticipating getting.
Yeah, we talked about that in our school a lot too.
Yeah.
Eating disorders. A lot of people eat because they are depressed,
Or
like I was.
yeah, or
It's numbing the pain.
yeah, or anorexia, bulimia, same thing. They're in pain,
Yeah.
and they think they have to be a certain image, and they throw up or starve themselves.
I don't understand that. I like food too much to...
But you got to remember, psychological.
It is, and I would make a really bad anorexic person. I'm so pissy if I miss a meal.
That's why you're not anorexic.
That's exactly why I'm not. People will shove food down my throat. You're being a bitch. It's true. I got nothing. I have to.
So you were
I would not do well in apocalyptic era. I just wouldn't.
So you were saying?
So the main point of this book and video, my
Mhm.
workout video, by the way, my diet is in the last segment of my video. I just
Okay.
show people exactly what I took, including the supplements. Was the body is a nonstop
Machine.
healing machine. I mean, that's all it does. It was designed for that. So no matter how sick you are, even if you're considering amputation, go to Whitaker Wellness in Newport Beach. And there's other holistic therapists, doctors all over the country and world. It's not just here in Southern California that'll treat you the same way. You can heal. I don't care how far the disease progressed. I don't care if it runs in your family. You can turn off the gene expression, which it makes it easier for you to
Right.
get diabetes. You
Yeah.
don't need, if you live a healthy lifestyle, you won't get it in the first place, regardless if it runs in your family. Now it's another big point I wanted to bring out. If you're worried about your blood sugar, the very first chapter of my book, I say how to find out if you're diabetic.
Right.
There's like a home testing kit you can get at
Oh, really?
any pharmacy. It's like $30, and you stick your finger and within 10 minutes you have a hemoglobin A1C reading, and
I didn't know that.
anything
Well, I
over,
didn't know that either.
yeah, anything over 6.5 is
I just had my blood test. I thought it was 5.8.
yeah 5.8.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I'm 5.2.
Yeah, anything over 5.8
Hey,
is
you're
considered pre-diabetic.
yeah. Yeah,
And anything over 6.2 or 1 is considered diabetic.
correct.
Mm.
And then I believe if you can also get tested now, if you have the gene, you can test yourself. Like I told you, type 3 diabetes is Alzheimer's. You can get yourself tested if you have the trait. To that, you can start doing things to control your insulin now, so you will not get Alzheimer's.
You know, it's funny you talk about Alzheimer's. You guys mentioned that a few times. I want to talk about a supplement that I took. I found out which actually heals or prevents Alzheimer's.
Oh,
You've heard of alpha lipoic acid?
No.
No.
Okay, that was another supplement I learned about when I was going through this. It lowers your blood sugar. It does all kinds of things. It clears up free radicals in your cells. Heals the damaged mitochondria. I sound like a scientist now.
Yeah, you do.
But it also goes through the blood-brain barrier, which
Yes.
is where the Alzheimer's starts.
Right.
And actually protects cells in the brain.
Because I believe with the gene, or what happens is that the matter in the brain starts coming down. It starts tearing it down. It starts eating away at it, basically. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So this product must prevent that. It must block that agent.
It does a lot. If you just Google alpha lipoic acid,
I'm doing it right now.
you'll learn how many benefits it has for the human body. It's
You know,
scary.
it's interesting too. I have a client of mine. She's a good friend of mine. Her dad has diabetes, and her mom. They found out about cinnamon and cloves,
Mm-hmm.
and he drinks it every morning. And since he's been drinking this drink every morning, he doesn't even have to take his medication anymore,
Really?
because it's lowered his sugar that much that he still tests it every morning just to see, and he takes the kit to work just to keep testing, but it has lowered his sugar.
I actually tested cinnamon myself, and it didn't work with me. Everybody responds differently to
Sure.
different supplements. There are a few that really work for me that I want to talk about real quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
They've been used for thousands of years all over the world. So the main ones that worked for me were chromium, vanadium, and apple cider vinegar. I would actually test my blood before and after taking the supplements and drinking the apple cider vinegar. Of course, with some kind of sweetener. Can't drink that.
Cinnamon?
Plain. No cinnamon. Just those three, and my blood sugar would lower about 20 to 30 points
Well, that's a lot.
That's a
within